Well, today, guys, welcome, people. I have another video for you today. Welcome back to my channel, Flashlightunity. I am Theora, and today's video this is Before You Play the Game, Part 2, and we're going to get into it. Ochite, hi guys, people, welcome back to my channel, Flashlightunity. I am Theora, and I have another video for you today. Today is going to be a part 2 of Before You Play the Game. And we went over, hold on, I have my notes here, so I'm going to talk about what we went over so I can dive right into what this video is about. We went over recognizing that this life is a game. Went over how long do you intend to remain asleep in this game. We went over recognizing how do you plan to proceed in this game. Like, are you going to be soft? Are you going to play the victim anytime something come against you? Or are you going to be strong? Are you going to persevere? And that one is kind of tied to the video that I'm doing right now. So, but I'm just recapping. And a lot of things that within this game, I am going to repeat. And I repeat them so that you can be aware of them. So as different phases of the game, if you come across different phases of the game, you'll say, oh, okay, I remember that. It was repeated. Repetition brings about the remembering and, the knowledge and the wisdom to act accordingly. So a lot of things that you may hear me repeat within this game of life. Another one, Bites the Dove series. So just be easy. Sometimes we may forget, and I hope you writing stuff down because we can't remember everything. Let's just face it. There's so much going on in this world that we're just not going to be able to remember everything. So I would urge, unless you got a photographic memory, if you do, then awesome. But if not, I know for myself, I have to write any and everything down. I wouldn't care if I'm at a table out to dinner and there's a napkin there. If that's the only thing that I have to write something on, I would write it on a napkin. I would write information that I feel is valuable to me that I may not think I will remember. I would write it down. And I use my phone notes a lot to write stuff down because guess what? Information is everywhere. Information is oozing out of everywhere. Information is people. People are information. Places is information. Energy is information. Events is information. There's so much information everywhere that there's no way that we will hold it all until we come accustomed to it. And that's exactly the reason for the repetition. Like when you hear me say things twice, or you hear me say a phrase twice, or you may hear me speak on a subject twice, that's exactly what repetition is for, because the information, the repetition is how we grasp this particular aspect of whatever we're talking about, and that may be anything, person, place, event, time, So let me go over it. Let me finish. Okay, so I think that's what I went over as far as coming up to this part. And this part is Before You Play the Game, part 2. And I briefly touched on where you stand in this game as a player, and how you are absolutely individual to this game. Like there's nobody else. You cannot give your control to someone else and say, oh, play this game for me, because each person was given their own what I want to call it, controller, which is their mind. Each person from the divine was given their own controller, and the controller is your mind. So, and why do you think she put it in your skull where nobody can actually get to it? Figuratively speaking, nobody should be able to get to your mind. That's why it was placed in your skull, because can you imagine people would just give it over freely, even though, and this what leads me up to this video. During this process of this game, there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be what feels like blockages, which feels like fear tactics, which feels like doubt. There's a whole bunch of things that's going to come in that has a negative connotation in this game, because after all, we are trying to elevate. And the way that we elevate, we have to drop There's a whole bunch of weighted things that weighs us down within us that we have to drop. And it's things like jealousy, envy, resentment, bitterness, and this is not for everybody. Everybody's journey is different, but these are just some of the things that weighs us down within our mind, which allows for all of these fears and blockages and barricades and what fears to be like tactics to keep us from getting to our elevation. So you have to be aware. Now, this is about awareness. Before you play this game, you're going to have to be aware, because we all have a dark side. We all have a shadow side. We all have a dark side. And the shadow side is not supposed to be something that we run from or that we shove in a closet and hope nobody ever sees. The shadow side is supposed to be something that we deal with, that we kind of make peace with, we kind of accept for who it is, And so a lot of people may have problems facing their shadow side. The things that about yourself that you really don't want anybody to know. Because let's face it, when we all go outside, we all put on a face that is pleasingly present to the world, because we all want to put our best foot forward. But there's a shadow side of us where we may not want the world to see. A lot of times people don't want the world to see, so we kind of tuck it away and we hide it off, and I'll go with jealousy. Jealousy is one of them. Are you the type of person, when you see somebody with a particular thing, do you immediately get jealous? Are you jealous of what another person may have? Because that's a self-sabotaging emotion. That's an emotion that tells yourself, your dark side, like, oh, you can never have that, because that's what jealousy is. When you see somebody with something, if you actually get jealous, you're telling yourself, your shadow side is saying, oh, you can never have that. You're never good enough, because and that what sparks the jealousy. That's what sparks that emotion. Are you envious? There's, and then those two, they're used interchangeably, but they're similar, but I don't think that they're exactly the same. Envious could be, let's say, someone has a particular kind of job that gives them freedom, and you're envious of how all the freedom that somebody have, and so knowingly or unknowingly, and these shadow emotions that we have, they are sneaky, they come in, and sometimes we may not know that we have them, and sometimes we absolutely know that we have them, and to the point where people actually, when I talk about blockages, there may be the powers to be that actually collaborate together with these envious feelings, emotions, collaborate together to express a certain level of envy, which is a negative, low vibration energy. So, and I'm saying all this to say, because while you're right here, right now, you can just imagine that your friend group, your family group, just imagine your reality as it is, all the people that your associations, be it your family, your social associations, your work associations, and just pretty much anybody that you deal with. As long as you're right where you are, which they feel is parallel to where they are, everything's going to be fine. But I'm here to warn you, and this is for awareness. As soon as you attempt to elevate, because if everybody's on the same playing field, we're fine. And you already know, once you elevate, you get a better view of what's below, right? So, but as long as you're parallel to others, they're fine. But the minute that they feel as though that you have a slight elevation, a slight edge over them, they will change. You will begin to see the dark sides of people, and they will come out. They will come out with vengeance. Some of them will be blatantly coming out, and others will be covert. There's that word again, covert. I hope you looked it up. Some of these energies will come out as being covert, and some of them will present themselves overtly. They will clearly express to you the envy, the energies that come and the actions that come along with being envious, jealous, or, hateful, So when I say that this game is going to present with, some opposition, and I'll say some opposition that may want to deter you because, let's face it, it's like crabs in a bucket, all the crabs in the bucket want to get out of their bucket. So as long as all the crabs are there with them, they're fine. But if they see another crab attempting to get out of that bucket, the same bucket that they want to get out of, but they don't know how, they will most definitely attempt to pull that crab back in the bucket. And you being the crab that is attempting to play the game, the elevation game, which we are all in. It's just some people are active players and some people are bystanders. Some people are bystanders to this game where they don't call the shots to the game, because remember, this game is your book, your life's book, which you get to write. There are some people who are who are in the game, but they're not writing the book. They're not writing their book. They're allowing another man, say, to write their book. To write their book of how they feel, to write the book on how they think, to write the book on how they act, and this is what we're trying to break out of. We're trying to get to a point where we're writing our own book. But as we begin to write our own book, we need to be aware of all the perceived blockages that's going to come and attempt to deter us off of our path of elevation. So with this awareness, you need to affirmatively say, there is nothing that's going to stop me from elevating, from playing this game according to what I write. I'm writing the book. I will not allow anyone else to write my book. Now, we can always scribble them in a small little part as a character in our book, but in no way will they be the stars of our book, because you are a one-man show, one-woman show, and you should absolutely be the star, So with this awareness, we need to absolutely affirm without a shadow of a doubt that we are the stars of our book, our game, and that nothing or no one, it's a scripture from the book, the Bible, and I'm sure you know the book. I personally have a feeling about the Bible, and I'll get into that in another video. But the scripture says, Ephesians 6:12, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and spiritual wickedness of the darkness," And so a lot of times what we just described, those things cannot be seen. Because when we talk about flesh and blood, that's another human being. Like you see another human, you can touch another human, you see them. But what we cannot see about human beings and what's in the atmosphere is energies, and energies is what we wrestling against, because they carry those titles that we just spoke about: the principalities, the spiritual wickedness, and the spirit, the darkness, dark energies, So I'm saying all that to say, and I'm hope I'm explaining it to the point where you can actually understand it, because I know Ephesians 6:12, I know everybody's pretty much heard that scripture. If you heard that scripture and you let it glaze over, now is the time for you to do your research to hone in and figure out what that scripture actually mean. I kind of gave you an interpretation from my perspective of what that actual scripture means, because there's more than meets the eye. There's more in this realm of reality between heaven and earth that meets the eye than just you being a human and somebody else being a human. There's so much more than meets the eye, and until you can actually accept that fact to be true, then you're going to have a hard time in this game, in the book that you're creating, but for yourself, in which you are the star, and this is, I said open-minded, and I don't know if I said it or not, but I'm going to say it now. This is where the open mind is, because I did a video that they flipped the matrix upside down. I did another video where I said everything that they call mythical in this reality here is actually what's true. So as far as the part of having an open mind is to try to debunk, you have to erase everything that you heard. Erase everything that you heard that was presented by the powers that be, which means the people who are presenting information. You're going to have to kind of erase everything that you heard and then start from scratch. Slowly integrate these things back in there with I would say judging. This is one time when you can judge because you're trying to judge what's true and what's false. You're trying to judge what's true and what's false. So this is the one time, normally I don't like judging, but when I say judging, I like to say judging of a person, individually or anything like that. But in this case, this is judging is absolutely necessary when you're trying to decipher information that you can use and that you throw away. Because without the actual judgment, which means you have to take each individual situation, saying, another man say, each ideology, and you have to discerningly say, based on how you feel, and say, is this true? Could this be true? Or is it more to this? Should I do more research? Do I need to do more research? Is it going to help me to move along on my path? So, and that's when I said about judging about all the information, because when I say that they flipped the matrix upside down, they flipped the matrix upside down and they left no stone unturned as far as the information that they put out to the people. And so right now, the people, a majority, I would say a good portion of the people are stuck in a flipped matrix that they do not know how to get out of. But here I am. I'm here and I want to help you get prepared. I want to give you the awareness that you need to actually get the matrix right side up in your world, because the matrix was intended to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. The real definition of matrix is a womb. It's a womb, which is feminine in essence. So, look that up. Look that up. That kind of blew my mind. So, there's so much more out here that we need to know. Alternative to what the powers to be are giving us. If you are the type of person, and I'm going to hurry up and end this video. If you are the type of person that do not seek alternative information, wisdom, ideas, ideologies, other than what the powers to be that give you, then you will continue to be stuck in an upside down matrix with nowhere to go. And I'll say that again. If you are the type of person that you only accept, that you only believe the information that the powers to be that are presenting to you, which are the same powers to be that flip the matrix upside down. If you're only choosing to believe certain information without going to get any alternative information and wisdom on your behalf, then you're going to remain in the matrix. In any attempts that you make in this writing of your book, in the game of life that we are definitely all in, some of us are playing and some of us not, then you're going to fail. It's going to be easy to push you right back in that bucket with the rest of the crabs. Well, guess what? Well, they will be so most happy to see you. The other crabs, they will be most happy to see you fall back down in the bottom right where they are. And with that, my friends, I'm going to end this video because, I hope I express this particular, before you play the game, there are things that you have to know. So, decipher through this information. You take what you need, and if it doesn't apply to you, if you already know, then that's fine. But once again, we're coming with curiosity. We're coming like a childlike mind. We're assuming that we don't know anything, and we're trying to get all the answers all over again, because the matrix has been upside down for a long time now. So what you think you may know, you may not know. And I'll say it again, we got to get over before we go under. And this series is definitely called Another One Bites the Dust. And all the information that I just gave you is definitely going to help you be saved from another one bites the dust. Like I said, I don't want anyone to be bitten by the dust. I don't want anyone to bite the dust. And so this is why I am here as a guide, as a teacher, as a student, as your energy, your high vibration energy to just get you to where you need to go, because it's time. It's time. There's never been more of a time for us all to elevate. And so I'm going to do all that I can to help you. And until the next video, Ochite.